Of the car was torn off from the impact. The driver would be fine because, for one, there's a roll cage above and around the driver. He would be wearing a helmet along with some other safety things in the car, so he would have lived. If he did have any injuries, it'd be very little. If he had any injuries from this type of crash, it'd be very little because of how safely built the Formula 2 cars are. So he would have been fine. Now we're gonna crash test it again, but this time head on, because I want to see what would happen if we crashed it head on. I haven't crashed it head on before yet. I've crashed it into things on the grid map, like some ramps and stuff like that, which I hit mostly the tires and not head on into anything. Almost did when I crashed it into one of the ramps, but it didn't. So this time we're gonna try doing it head on. So I'm gonna have my hand and arm in the way of my tablet's camera to be able to do this, to be able to steer it, to get it how I want it, and we already missed. We did hit the barrier, outside barrier wall here though. We were going about the same speed we did whenever we first crashed it. So right away after we crashed it head on at that speed, the engine was damaged. And if nobody knows this or not, the engine is not here in front. It's actually back here in the back, like a Lamborghini is. It's back here in the back. So somehow during the impact, the engine was damaged. Driver view. Amazingly, he would have survived. Even though as bad as of a head-on crash like that, there is still a very high possibility of him surviving from that. Him or her. There's a very high possibility of the driver surviving from that type of crash head on like that. If they did have any injuries, they would have either between little to minor injuries or right at minor injuries. It'd be most likely minor injuries, because they would have going that fast head on into something like that, you would have internal injuries. So actually, I'm going to change that from minor to probably pretty much right at severe injuries or even critical injuries. Because going that fast into something like that head on, crashing into something or another car head on like that at that speed, or anything from almost 50 miles per hour or faster, going that fast head on into something like that, what happens during a crash to your body, which I watched like a video somewhere that on YouTube that talked about this, that I'm gonna tell you guys is first thing that stops moving before you and your body do is your car. The car stops first after the crash. The second crash is your body and your internal organs. That is the second crash, is what they call the second crash. Going that fast, like I said, either at 50, 40, around 45 probably, which is about how fast the speed limit is for most places, about 45. 50 some miles, 55 or faster. From 55 or faster, even up to 100 and some miles per hour like this, your organs would pretty much literally explode from the crash. And that's because during the crash, your car stops first after you crash it, and then your organs crash into the inside of your body, your rib cage, or your skeleton crashes into and literally explodes from that secondary crash. And that's because there's nothing to protect it whenever you're in a car accident. That's why a lot of people die instantly during a car accident or end up in critical condition and die later in the hospital from a car accident. It's if they live to make it to the hospital, then it's not the car crash itself, it's the secondary crash inside of your body that kills you from a car accident. That is what kills you. It's not the crash itself. It's the secondary crash that is inside of your body, which is your organs, literally exploding from crashing into your inner walls of your body, that kills you from a car accident. Okay, let's see. Change back over to this vehicle, reset it, put it in reverse. A little more. There we go. Okay, change it out with, let's see, what do we want to change it into? I don't remember if we did the gravel blue buck last time or not. This time we're doing the Burkle Moonhawk. The other one we're doing will be the Ibshu Prisma. I hope I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. So replace current. It into that other vehicle. Ibishu Prisma. Check on the time on my tablet. Almost an hour long of the video, so I'm gonna have to end the video soon. So I'll do another few cars or so, depending on which one I want to do next. That's the horn for this vehicle. Have my arm and hand in the way again as I'm driving it to steer. I wish I didn't have to have my arm and hand in the way to be able to steer it, but I have to be able to steer it. I can sometimes steer it with one hand, but sometimes I can't. So there's nothing I can do about it. It looks like this is going to be kind of like basically a head-on crash into the barrier. So, at the edge of my eye. So, slow it down. Looks like we're going to have impact at almost 80 miles per hour for this vehicle. Exact speed that it's reading right now is 78. So, looks like that's what we're probably going to hit at. Unless it goes up. Went right up to 80 miles per hour right after we did that. Dropped one to 79. 79 is what we hit the barrier at for impact. And as we watch, we can already see the dashboard moving towards the driver and passenger seat a little bit. Okay, back to real time. Engine broken from impact, and drive shaft is fine though. So because the engine is damaged, it's not going to go anywhere. Onboard view. Driver, passenger both would have minor to severe injuries because how we had crashed it head on into it. And then passengers in the back seat, they would have little to no injuries, most likely. Change to this vehicle, which we're going to have to go slow with to start out with. And the reason why is because if you immediately floor it, the acceleration pedal, it's going to spin out on you. It's just the way this car is, and the gravel blue buck or whichever it was. Paused it and then unpaused it to get it a little closer to the wall. It's gonna be mostly almost head on. Yeah, mostly about head on. Just about, but not quite. Some of it's gonna go towards that way, so it'll look like it was hit mostly on the passenger side, but we'll see once we slow it down and unpause. Yeah, mostly head on. The only thing that wasn't was the driver's side fender, which had bent and stretched out in that direction like it did. Door frame for both doors had bent and crumpled from impact. Forgot to look at the speed. I meant to do that. I meant to look at it, not forget it. Drive shaft right away immediately broken. Engine in real life would be damaged, and somehow it did not get damaged from the impact. And drive shaft though somehow did. Door on the driver's side came open, passenger side did not. They had crumpled in and then crumpled outwards as the crash happened. And because of where the dashboard now is, which had crumpled in, went bent upward a little bit, would mean that the passenger and driver both would have either severe injuries or would be in critical condition or would have died instantly from the crash. The driver definitely probably would have died instantly because of where the steering wheel is now. Passengers in the back seats, they would have minor injuries because it looks like their legs would be broken because the back seat looks to have been damaged a little bit from the driver and passenger seat being shoved towards the back seats. Yeah, they've been shoved towards the back seats on, so their legs would be broken. Reset it. Swap it out with a different vehicle. That's not what I want to click on. Vehicles is what I meant to click on. Okay, so these next vehicles, the vehicles we're going to do are going to be the Ibishu Prisma, Auto Tabella Piccolina. Don't know if I said that right or not. It's a Italian car, and then the other car we're doing is the Ibishu Pigeon. Those are the last vehicles we're going to do for now. Another new vehicle I had gotten is the Gravel B series. It's the off-road version of the Gravel T series semi-trucks that I found as a mod that I've gotten that we will crash test in our next crash testing video after this one at some point. So for now we're going to place this vehicle with this one to do it next. And then we gotta reset this one and then change it out as well. And we're changing it out with this Italian car. There's a Baja version of it, kind of like an off-road version of it that you can get, or that you can drive around with. There's a rally car, course track car as well, police car, Italian police car. This is a car that has the engine in the back, by the way. That's how this vehicle is. Kind of like Volkswagen. It's also Italian, I think. I think there might be a mod for it. I don't know if there is or not. I'd like to see if there is eventually at some point. Just don't know when that'd be. So first thing we're going to do is crash test this vehicle. Before we do anything, this vehicle starts out at around, takes off at around 18 miles per hour, and it goes kind of slow at first, but as you keep going, as you're flooring the acceleration pedal, it speeds up more, so it takes it a little bit, especially for an engine being in the back of it. It takes it a little bit slow. Got it up to around 53 miles per hour. Let's see if it goes up anymore before impact. So far, it doesn't look like it's going to change. Nope, did not change. So we have impact at 53 miles per hour. few more miles per hour, it would have been 60. But no, we had impact at 50, 53. Okay, put simulation speed back to normal. Fuel tank is damaged, so it's leaking fuel. Showing that the driveshaft engine isn't damaged. In real life, the driveshaft would be damaged, so it's actually still somewhat still drivable here on the game. You just can no longer would be able to steer it in the direction you would want to, because the only part of it still steerable is the passenger side tire. So impact damage, take a look above and underneath. Looking at how underneath is bent downwards a little bit, it means the drive shaft should have broken, but it didn't. Fuel tank was damaged though. Driver would have either died instantly or would have critical to severe injuries or critical condition, either one. Same for the passenger as well. Passengers in the back seat, probably minor to low injuries. Don't see any damage to the seat back there or anything, so other than the windows being broken. The rear window isn't broken either, but other than the side windows back there being broken, that's pretty much it for this vehicle. It would also obviously would also be totaled, which I meant to say that about the other vehicles too, on if they would be or not, but this definitely would. Now to crash test this vehicle. And looks like we are definitely going to hit mostly the passenger side for it. Now it'll slow simulation speed down. Put it to 100 times. And play. Looks like we're going to have impact at 69 miles per hour. Just one more mile per hour, it would have been 70. So almost 70, but not quite. I had to drink some Kool-Aid right quick. My mouth was starting to dry out from talking to you guys as we play the game. Get back to the time. Immediately right after, we noticed that the engine, showing that the engine is damaged, it also said it was. Above you, underneath, hubcap on that tire came off. None of the other ones came off, but that one. Driver would have minor injuries because of how the steering wheel shifted. Passenger, however, would have severe to critical injuries or critical condition. Passengers in back seats would have probably just low to no injuries. Passenger, though, would have probably died instantly because the door frame is crumpled. door frame on the passenger side, or not passenger side, driver side, looks to have started to have crumpled, but it didn't. If it did, the driver would have died probably almost instantly as well. So now I'm gonna reset it. Okay, for the, let's see, which vehicle are we gonna do next? It was the Ibushu Pigeon. So, since we're doing it last for this Benji Drive video, this is what we're going to do last for now. So, to do it, we're going to do 2 of it. So, the one where I already have spawned in is one that we're going to do for passenger side of it, or what would be the passenger side. The reason why I say that is because the steering wheel is different on it as well. It isn't on this, but you'll see what I mean once I show you. So, do the same thing for over here as well. How long is the video now? Literally right at an hour long worth. So, by the time I'm uploading this, this is going to take at least around either 2 days or even 3 days to completely upload. That's up to how long it'll take. I wish it would upload quicker, but it doesn't. So, okay, so to show you guys where the steering wheel is, it's like this in that one other car I showed. And the engine is really small, by the way. I'll go under, sorry, look, show you guys underneath. Engine is really small, really tiny. Probably the smallest engine on here on BeamView Drive for a vehicle like this. So, the only thing about this vehicle is steering it is kind of difficult. That's because it literally only has one tire in the front of the vehicle, and it's right there, right in the center of the vehicle. And that single tire there in the front is the only thing that steers it. Meaning that if you're going pretty fast in this vehicle, it can easily roll over and flip. I missed pausing it in time. That's okay though. Still got the other one to do of it, same thing. So this was almost a head-on crash. We still sort of got what we wanted out of it though, being mostly what would have been the driver's side of it if it were a US car, but it's not. It'd be probably, I don't know, Chinese, Japanese, maybe Russian, maybe European or Europe as well, either. England is what I meant to say. But right away, it's no longer steerable, because what would be there to steer it is now completely destroyed. Entire framing there, front portion of the vehicle is also damaged, meaning the vehicle would be totaled. Engine, drive shaft still fine, so even though you can still drive it, it's no longer steerable. So here's the inside. Let's see. The driver would probably have, let's see, did the roof crumple in any on the driver's side? doesn't look like it. The door did though, very slightly, meaning the roof did as well if it did. So they would have, actually they would probably have minor to, definitely would probably have right at severe injuries. Because, first of all, because of how low the steering wheel is, and because there doesn't look to be an airbag, all it looks to be there is the button for the horn. For the center of the steering wheel, the horn button that you'd push, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that'd pretty much be the horn. It does have a horn sound, so their head would have went into the window shield or even through the window shield. So they would have severe injuries or would have died instantly. Passenger, however, they would have definitely probably died instantly right away from impact because the door frame for there in front of them had crumpled, and it definitely did underneath where their seat is as well, so they would have died instantly or would be in critical condition either way, really. So that's this first pigeon car that we did. I don't know why I hit the C button again to go into it again. By the way, if you don't know, the letter C key on your keyboard when you're playing BMG Drive is to go into driver mode, onboard mode, and external mode, and orbit, which is what this is. And then to pause the game, you click on the letter J key, pause the game, and then you push it again to resume the game. And then the H key is the horn. That's for vehicles that do have a horn. If you hit that key for certain vehicles and you don't hear a horn, then it doesn't have a horn, unfortunately. So now we're going to crash test this other pigeon. This is the last vehicle we're going to do for today's new BMG Drive video. That will be it until the next time's BMG Drive video. That I will do. So this one we want to get like that. Well, I forgot to pause again, but that's okay because this is the last vehicle we're going to do for today anyways. So this was